Hey guys, Cainebourne back with Conan Exiles. Here today to follow through on my promise to bring you an entire walkthrough of the new dungeon known as the Dregs. I am going to try to be as prepared as I can for this so I don't have to stop and go back for anything. So I've got my ancient Khopesh, a shield, and an ancient bow. Really a big fan of the ancient stuff. I've got 10 healing potions with a little bit more in my inventory that I used a couple just to get here through the camp. We've got a couple of torches, some water and food, 100 steel for repairs. So let's see if we can make it through on a run here. This is by no means going to be a speed run or anything. This is going to be as detailed as humanly possible as far as how we're going to beat this dungeon. The first tricky part is getting one of these guys up onto the platform to kill. So I'm going to do that, and I'll join you guys again when we're ready to enter. Okay, guys, so the first issue I notice is that it's very difficult to aggro one of those mobs in the camp and train them over onto this platform. They don't seem to want to cross over. So I believe what's intended is to actually capture your own thrall and then sacrifice him right here on the platform. So that might be another little level requirement as far as getting into this dungeon. So I think they want you to actually capture a thrall, break him, bring him here, and sacrifice him. So it's basically a true sacrifice, and you're not just killing an enemy that is localized to this area. So that is going to get you inside the dungeon. Now, I had a couple of people ask if this dungeon is instanced. It does appear to be so. It does load in. But then I've done a bunch of reading that says it is sort of like a group instance. So I don't know how all of that organization is going to work. We're going to have to figure that out. It's going to require more testing when I have more people available to help me out with that. Remember, when you turn this way right away to read this plaque, that is going to right away give you a couple of recipes that you can unlock somewhere in here. Here it is. The glowing stick, the breathing potion, and the glowing essence. It does not cost any points. It's automatically available, so you now have those recipes. So those will be helpful as we move on to this dungeon, or in this dungeon. All right, so you've already got the interest of a Komodo dragon. All right. The threat has been subdued, at least for the moment. So this room here is literally just for farming the underwater plants, as far as I can tell. I haven't seen any secrets. I've looked around a fair amount, and I don't want to stretch this out too much. So I'm going to keep moving. Interesting, the way that you bug out there. The shallow water thinks it's deep water, especially if you guys try to crouch, so be careful with that. But hey, what's Conan without a couple of bugs? So we're going to work our way to the back here. And now a couple of people asked me, how do you open this door? I'm having trouble opening this door. Oh God, look at this guy with his head in the ground. Oh, Conan, you never cease to amaze me with your bugs. Alright, so anyway, this area up here, a couple of people asked me, how the heck do I open this door? As far as I understand, you literally just walk up to the door and you just stand here for a little bit, but we will see again, because it certainly opened for me pretty easily the first time. Oh, nope, you just spam the E button. Okay, so you do have to press the button, just press E on it. I don't know, through my various testing it was different each time. Drink some water. So now, this is your first intellectual test that you face in here, and unsurprisingly I've seen many people in videos or other places already confused at this part. It's pretty darn simple. You just have to jump onto one of the lips here and continue on your merry way. And she tells me I'm smart because I figured out that great puzzle, which I agree. So then you just continue on. And another door that you just have to press E. Yeah. As you enter this area, this is the first time you're going to encounter a water puzzle. So you need to get up here, and this is where I notice most people getting stuck. You're looking all over. You're trying to jump. If you had a group, I feel like you could actually get up here. Somebody could boost you, and you'd be able to jump up. But what you actually want to do is yank out your bow and just shoot that little switch right there. Now there are chests on either side. I am unhappy to report that those chests have about the same loot that you'd expect out of a wooden chest at this point, some fiber and a rock. Hoping that is going to be rectified at some point. We're going to go ahead and repair our sword. Another press E on the door. Pretty darn simple so far. Alright, so after you enter this chamber, this is the first time that you're going to run into a little bit of a head scratcher. That might take you a few moments if you have not done this before and you have no idea how to proceed. So right away you're going to see that you're in a chamber. If you jump down there, there's really nothing that you can really do or any way to progress. You are going to notice that straight across there is a entrance that is open, but that will have another pool of water that you have to cross to get to that. So the first thing is to get past the first obstacle, which is extremely easy and self-explanatory. You're just going to shoot the switch right in front of you, and oh my goodness, water comes. Big surprise at this point, right? The slightly trickier part is navigating this next chamber, because in order to get through this door, you need to fill up this water, but then you have to fill up the water in the next part. So what you're going to want to do is shoot that switch, get yourself over to the right as quickly as possible, all the way over to the right, because right as this water fills up, you're going to want to be here, then you're going to want to shoot this switch on the right, and you're going to want to head back very quickly before the water recedes and jump up here. And then as this water fills up from the switch on the right, you're going to want to cross that right away, because that's not going to stay filled up for very long either. So just to recap, you come into the main chamber, you shoot the first switch, you come right across. Then if you're facing forwards, you hit the switch to the left, swim over to the right as fast as you can, hit that switch, and then you are able to fill up this pool, which allows you to move on to the next chamber. Now we're going to run into the second enemy other than the Komodos, which are skeletons. So hopefully we don't die a brutal death that way. We're going to tap up on our food and drink. And we're hopefully not going to die a horrible skeleton death. But don't hold your breath, folks. If they're going to play coy, we're just going to go this way. In fact, I think I'm going to run past these jerks. Okay, well now that I've easily outwitted these skeletons, which apparently aren't the smartest enemies in the game. Of course you could fight them, but I haven't found anything decent for loot on them. You're going to come to this next chamber, which offers a little bit of a puzzle. Again, I find the puzzles in this game to be pretty darn easy, especially since I've just been playing Zelda and a lot of other games that are probably a little more complex. You're going to want to jump down on the left side, swim over this way. You can swim over the other way, but there's really nothing over there. You're going to round this little bend here, and hopefully, if I can stop failing at jumping, walk up here. Now, you should be able to hit this switch from all the way over here, as long as you fire the bow with the proper arc. So that should do it right there. And what that is going to do is raise the water levels once more and allow me to access this ledge. Then you just head through, and now we are essentially at the final boss. You just have to work your way up either way. You could see, or rather hear him making some wonderful noises up there. And as we round this bend, we are going to encounter the boss. I'm going to take a quick second to top up on supplies, and we will move on and finish him. Alright, so with all the supplies topped off, we're going to go ahead and fight the boss. And arrows are going to be your best option, because he sprays acid at you very quickly. You're going to have to continue to dodge it. If you get close, there is another way to fight him, because he will lunge at you with all of his weight. He'll be put off balance, and then he falls down, and you can get a bunch of free hits on him. I will try to trigger that. I will probably end up getting myself hurt badly. he doesn't seem to want to do that right now. Alright, so this can be a long and arduous process. I'm going to sometimes have to take breaks to go ahead and refresh my stamina. But you get the general idea. You just strafe back and forth and you hit him with arrows. That's going to be probably the easiest and most consistent way to do it. Like I said, you can definitely make him angry and have him lunge at you and hit him with a sword quite a bit, because he'll lay there for a good 10 or 15 seconds. I'll try to get that to happen. Otherwise, this is all I'm going to do, so I'm going to skip ahead. And we'll see him dead. Give me a minute. Let me try one more time to get him to lunge at me. Interesting. Oh, there it is. Okay. So he ducks down and he goes inside, and now he's up for a very long time. So you can go ahead and beat the stuffing out of this guy, and then we'll go back to this, and now we're back to shooting the acid. So honestly, it's a pretty easy fight. Literally, you get him to lunge at you, you beat him up, or if you prefer to be a bow guy, you do this. So let's skip ahead to him dying, and we will see what kind of loot we're getting out of him, what's going on. But that's about it, guys. That's the whole strategy to beat this thing. Not very difficult. Alright, at this point, he should be getting close to dying, at least. And there he goes. So now, probably the most important thing that I can tell you about this dungeon is after the acid drains, make sure you run over and grab this book immediately, because you're going to learn all of the recipes, and then you're going to want to chop him up very quickly. Because if you don't, this is going to quickly fill back up with the acid and you could miss something. So again, make sure, yes, you want to harvest everything off of the boss, but you also want to make sure that you find this book with the binding here, because this is where you're going to get the recipes. So then you're going to come out of the acid. It is going to come back shortly. It gives you a fair amount of time. I'm not saying you have to race like crazy, but if you're kind of joking around and celebrating and you go down there and harvest him, you might miss that book, which is the whole point of coming in here. So now, when you actually go into your recipes, you'll see that I've learned 2 new entire sets of recipes. You get the entire set of the reptilian armor, and then you also get the abysmal stuff, which is the arrows, the bolts, the meat, the dagger, and the sword, and everything else. So I will go ahead and craft all of those things for you and show you what components are needed, but I think that that would fit better in a separate video, because this way you've seen the entire walkthrough and you know how to beat the dungeon, and that's probably what you wanted to get from this video. I will show you how to make everything. I mean, realistically, it should be pretty self-explanatory because you're getting all of the recipes. If you go to an armor's bench, you're going to know exactly what you need for the armor. If you go to a blacksmith's bench or a carpenter's bench, you'll know how to make this stuff. And here, this is handcrafted, and then this is made in a firebolt cauldron. So pretty self-explanatory. The recipes are going to be given to you, but I'm going to cover them anyway, just so you have a heads up on what you need. As far as what I actually got from the boss itself, I got some abysmal fangs, which I'm guessing are going to be used in the arrows, the flesh, which is used to make some kind of meat that has regenerative properties, hide, which comes off of any reptile, so that's not that big of a deal, probably in the armor. The eye, I have to do some investigation and figure out what that's for. So this has been a walkthrough of the new dungeon, the Dregs. I hope it was helpful. If I left anything out, if you guys still have questions, let me know, and I will make sure to go ahead and get those answered. But we have conquered the dungeon together here today. Hopefully that's helpful, and I will do all the crafting from the dungeon in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching.